There we go. How we all doing?
Good, how are you?
How we all doing?
Pretty good. Never better.
What was that?
Never better.
Fair enough.
Never better.
Never better. I like your attitude, man.
Thank you.
That's right. Look at this, eh? This is like a normal interview. This is nice. I feel like I should talk like this.
You should.
How we all doing? Does anyone have a candle? Let's light a candle. Maybe lavender or French.
Sing some songs.
Yeah.
Do you sing, Danny?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No, terribly. I sing in the
How
shower,
about dancing?
and then
Do
my
you
wife.
dance?
Yeah, if I've had a couple drinks.
Anybody? No.
Bust a move like, nobody's manners. So what's going on?
So, okay, let's talk to Deanna Cudmore. Let's Colossus
chat.
and X-Men.
Yep.
Talk about that a little bit. How was
It
that
was,
experience?
which one, the latest one or just in
Let's
entirety?
start chronologically, shall we?
Well, I was a young man. I started when I was 22. I worked on X2 and got landed the audition with a long auditioning process. I think it was like a month. And then jumped on set and had no
What was the
idea what I was
auditioning process
doing.
like? What did they have you do?
Just any regular cattle call. You just have pretty much, you got one in New York.
What's a cattle call for those who aren't familiar?
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm doing like film terminology here. Cattle calls are just large casting calls for anyone that looks somewhat similar to the character. So if you are taller than 6'2", you have skin and eyes, you're good to go. So that's what I did.
Fingers or no?
Yeah, it depends. It's not, not the total thing. But yeah, you just go out and I went out for that, just not thinking anything of it, and then the next day they're like, yeah, I want to come back next week, and then it gets whittled down, and then you want to come back again, and you're like, absolutely, and then finally you have an audition where they're like, well, we want to see if you're in shape, so can you just walk around with no shirt on, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then eventually you have a meeting with the director, audition with the director and the producers, and then they kind of weigh on their thing, and then finally, like a month later, they're like, you got the job. And then, yeah, it's a long process, and then your agent calls you when you're driving to work as a bartender over a bridge, and you almost crash because you're freaking out. And then you go on set, and you're looking around, and you're hugging Halle Berry, and you're sweating profusely because that's Halle Berry, and you have no idea what you're doing, and it's a $100 million film, and you're just this rookie who's just kind of blown away by everything. And so yeah, that's where it started, and it's been evolving. And then X3, I worked with Mr. Brett Ratner, and that was, I think, 3 years later for me, and then this has kind of come full circle and back into the saddle working with Bryan Singer and this is better, and the whole crew, and yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past is killing it in the box office, and it's, in my opinion, I mean, I'm in it, so it sounds kind of cheesy plug, but the best X-Men film so far.
The best one so far?
So far.
The best is to come? Yeah,
Well,
okay,
you never know.
great.
I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't, there's more coming. You can't say that it's the best because you never know what's going to come out. Because Apocalypse is pretty cool.
So you worked with some real, like, established, been around forever and ever stars. No, it's cool. See, now he's going to sing. Now he's going to belt out crowds for it.
This is just easier.
Yeah. You guys can hear it, right?
Apparently I can.
Yeah.
Better?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
Let's just do this. There we go. It almost defeated me. There we
There
are.
we go.
There we go. Hi.
I'll match you.
Yeah, let's get
Now we're-
cozy.
Now we're getting intimate
There we are.
fireside chat.
Give me some Merlot.
So what was it like walking in, like you said, Halle Berry, Patrick Stewart? Like, was this intimidating? Was this just another day in the office? How did that feel?
Originally, it was extremely intimidating. I was just young. I had done maybe 2 or 3 acting classes. I had, drama from high school and those things, and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know any set etiquette. I didn't know any of the terminology that was getting thrown around, and I just kind of looked like a deer in headlights. And luckily enough, I did a good enough job, so I didn't get fired. And
So humble.
yeah, and it just it's fun. It's a wild experience. Like, I'm never ever going to replicate that again. But looking, the whole, if I only knew back then what I know now, it'd be a different story. But it's all part of the ride, right? So it's been cool.
Yeah. How about the stunt work? What kind of prep do you do for that?
I am one of three brothers, and we spent our whole entire life trying to kill ourselves. And so basically, I've just been having a life of just not work. I just never got paid for it. And then so I grew up in a small town, and the only choices were play sports or play sports. And so I was outdoors dirt biking and mountain biking, and I was playing soccer and football and rugby and ski racing and snowboarding and trying to just break bones in my body. And so I had the background of smashing myself into the ground. And then when I got into acting, people were like, well, you're kind of hard to double. There's not a lot of guys around here that are younger. They're 6'6". It's going to be tough. And I'm the kind of person that if I see someone doing something, I'm like, I can do that. I'm like, sure, I can. I'll try it until I hurt myself. And then so I just said, well, why don't you let me do my own stunt work? And a lot of the stunt coordinators were like, and then they were like, all right, well, you know what? Let's just give it a go. And they've been nice enough to let me try. And then I've executed it. So it kind of works out. But I mean, I have no problem if something comes up and they're like, hey, can you do this stunt? And I look at it, I'm like, no, I'm going to make it look terrible. Just bring the pros in. But for me, it's physical acting, and it sort of harks back on all my experiences in sports, and I enjoy it, and I think I like it because it brings that much more to your character, and you don't have to cut from a scene where the stuntman's hiding his face to you like this, you know. It's a better transition for film when it comes to cutting them, so. No, it's been fun.
How was the script when you first got it and you read it?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Okay, unbelievable.
No,
What
it was
your
really
first reaction?
flip, 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 flip. How do you do it? What? The whole time I was flipping back and forth. I don't know how you. And then yeah, it was great. It was really, really well done and well-rounded. I was upset because I didn't have a lot to do, and I wish there was more. Yeah. But you know, I'm not gonna complain until now. So it was great. It was really, really well done. And then for me, I just kind of was like, okay, well, how are they going to bring that many mutants and actors and everyone together, this large scale, and make it seamless and not kind of make it fall flat in certain areas. And the last thing you want to do is be in a film that doesn't have a good story, because then it's like, okay, well, our story's shit, so why don't we just go and spend all the money on CGI, and then you feel like you're watching a video game and there's nothing that holds you but maybe that 5 minutes of excitement of, oh, that was really cool, and then it's done. So the great thing about this film is the fact that the story is extremely strong, so it holds you throughout the film. And the great thing about it is just the fact that special effects is layered over top, and it just adds to it. It's just the cherry on top of the cake, which is nice.
And how is that acting with adding the special effects? Is that a lot of green screen? Is that a lot of, you have to use your imagination? Do you know exactly where things are? How's that work?
Yeah, I fight a lot of X's on the wall, and tennis balls on C-stands. And it just, you know, it's green screens, and it throws back to when you're a kid and you're running around and you're pretending you're fighting an army. Like, it literally, you just go back to your childhood and your imagination flourishes and you just go for it. Like, you have no choice but to go for it. And if you don't, you fall flat, because people will be like, oh, he was really not believing that. So you really can't look like an idiot or a goofball, because you're just like, I'm going for this. And, you know, you can pull me back if you need to, but I'm gonna get this going. So it seemed to work out, because all those scenes when I'm metaled up, I'm still me, running around with these little dots on my body for reference, and I'm still fighting X's on the wall and pretending to get smashed into things and getting my body ripped in half and all these different things. So it's a lot of fun, and at the same time, it's kind of weird at the same time.
How is it weird?
Because it is. You're just sitting there, a grown man with like 150 people behind the camera watching you, and you're screaming and grunting and groaning and flipping and rolling around, and there's nothing there. You just look like a crazy person. Yeah, you look like you're insane. So it kind of reminds me of if you ever get the opportunity to walk into an audition room, it's the funniest thing in the world, because you've got a bunch of grown men all talking to themselves. So it looks like an insane asylum, because it's all these dudes sitting there all by themselves, not talking to each other, just sitting there, just running their lines and their dialogue. It's pretty funny.
No fear.
I work in a weird industry.
Do you like this genre? Do you want to stay in the genre?
I like to work.
Okay, like to work. Right.
I don't. If it's a cool character, if it's a cool script, it's fun, it's something new. I like challenges. I don't want to pigeonhole myself in anything, but at the same time, if someone decides, hey, this is your genre, you're only going to do that, well, you know what? I need to put food on the table, and I need to I need to pay the bills and I need to work. So I'm going to get on it and just work until I get to the position where I can start calling shots and say, hey, you know what, I want to try something different. I want to try something maybe along the realm of comedy, or I want to do this, or I want to do something different. So until that point comes, I just want to work, and that's my main focus and that's my main goal. Because in all honesty, if you're an actor and all you do is act, you've made it. Like, you really made it. You don't have to have millions of dollars in the bank, because a lot of us don't. It's not. It's a million and one no's, and then every once in a while you get a yes. And so if you can get those yeses more than no's, then you're doing very, very well.
What's the advice you give for someone that wants to get into this business?
Realize that you want to get into the right reasons. Go to class. Find out whether or not you just want to act, and learn and soak it up like a sponge, and learn the basics about it before you decide, hey, this would just be fun, because it's a job interview after job interview after job interview, and it's just no, 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 but at the same time you never hear the no. No one says no to you. You just don't hear anything. So you have to realize that if you're in it for the right reasons, and you're willing to have a second job, and you're willing to sacrifice, and you're willing to not go out on weekends because Monday morning you got an audition and you need to remember that dialogue, then all for it. I'm more than happy to be like, get on it, man. But it's not that saying it isn't a great job and it isn't glamorous, but a lot of times it's just grinding. It is just hustling to try and get that next job. So if you go in it for the right reasons, then you'll enjoy yourself, and when you work and when you get those jobs, you'll be extremely happy. But if you're going in it to be famous, then jump on the Kardashians and sell your soul. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I gotta say.
That's great advice, really. So just take the no's, and then you get that yes, and you get something like X-Men, and it just is amazing, right? So what's next?
I just finished working on Warcraft. I was working on that in Vancouver for quite a few months, and finally get back to LA to get some sunshine, because I was kind of resembling a vampire. And I've just literally finally unpacked my bags, and then I flew over here, and now it's trying to find another job, because I'm currently unemployed. So it's just the story of my life. I'm employed for X amount of months, and then I'm unemployed for who knows. So just try to get on something cool, and try to convince someone with a performance in the room that they think I'll be good for a character, and get into a show. So who knows?
Can you talk about Warcraft a little bit?
Not at all. I signed a gigantic confidentiality agreement that I probably will get sniped by someone if I do talk about it.
All right.
It's gonna be really cool in the realm of the special effects is gonna blow you away, and the story's amazing, and the actors are great, and it's gonna be cool, but it doesn't come out till 2016, because they gotta add so much amazing technical, Weta and ILM are going to get on there and just make such a cool film. So, yeah, I wish I could talk about it more, but I'll probably get shot.
Well, we don't want you to get shot.
No. Nor do I, so I won't talk about it.
All right, we won't talk about it anymore. Let's open it up. Anybody have any questions?
Would you be interested in doing like TV?
Absolutely.
Series?
I would love to. I like working, like I said before. The problem is I'm not your average heighted actor, unless I'm going out for something that is specific to, hey, we need a guy who is 6'6". Because a lot of times the lead actor in a lot of shows will be 5'10", and if I don't fit in the camera, then it doesn't work. Or if the actor has a really big ego and is very insecure, he doesn't want anyone to be that much bigger. But I've gone out for TV, and I've almost landed pilots, and
I figure because you got Arrow, you got Flash coming, you got a lot of comic book adapted shows that are going to be on TV.
That's the thing. You just got to find the right character, and I don't say no to very much. I want to try and just work and get on something, and the way that TV is going nowadays is the fact that they're filming TV very similar to feature films, and the fact that the story's amazing and the quality is great. I'd love to get on anything. I would, jump on Game of Thrones, whatever, whatever I can, like just work. So.
Yes.
Do you have any contract signed with the X-Men? Like, are you going to be in the new, if another X-Men movie comes out, are you going to be Colossus in that?
Nope, I have no contracts.
Nothing.
No, nothing. So I'm just working away on other things, and if all of a sudden X-Men wants to come down the road and, hey, we'd love you in X-Men Apocalypse, then absolutely, I'd love to hop on. But, as far as contracts or knowing what's happening, I'm kind of just in the dark like everyone else.
I got two other quickies. Can I fit them in there real quick?
Sure.
One, how old are you?
33.
33?
Yeah,
And
I'm an old man.
do you think it would...
I'm an old man in the acting world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes me about an hour to get up in the morning. Yeah.
What's it called? Don't you think it would have been cool if they would have incorporated like the classic Colossus costume in the movie?
Yeah,
like the one from the cartoon in the 90s.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's got to fit into what they're doing in the film.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to being a costume designer, I do not envy that job because that is extremely hard. But I mean, when it came to when the first costume came out, they went with all black, and that was just the choice that they went with.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the one guy who's like, oh, everyone's wearing black and I'm wearing yellow and red.
Yeah.
It's awkward. And then in the new one, it was all sort of post-apocalyptic. It was very kind of dire and military, it was sort of military themed, and it was in that sort of realm of just you had to just fight to survive, and the costume just made sense because all of a sudden you have bright colors, which mean happiness, and now the tone of the film is totally different because the one guy's running around in bright costumes and like, hey, everyone's dead. All right, let's smash some things. You know what I mean? But it's still at one point, it'd be cool if they could bring it back. And there are a lot of things that from the comic book that would be cool to bring, but it's, when you're on the lower part of the totem pole, you just you do your job, you make simple suggestions here and there, and hope that they land in someone's ear and stay, but I'm not number 1 or 2 or 3 on the call sheet, and I don't command $20 million, and if I did, I would be talking a whole bunch of different things, so you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I have a comment and a question.
Perfect.
You seem very articulate, and I was wondering if, I don't know, if you personally would like a Colossus movie, if you had the opportunity.
Absolutely, I would love to. I would just, as long as the story makes sense, as long as it has something that intrigues me, and a story that makes you want to sit there and watch. But of course, I would love to. I mean, I would be scared shitless to do it. I mean, a lot of people don't understand the amount of work it takes to carry a whole film is incredible, and the pressure that you must feel as a performer when that's coming out is unbelievable. But you do this job because you wanna just show what you got, and you want to work yourself to the bone and see if you can kind of bring certain things out of you, and basically kind of scare yourself and go like, well, I'm only gonna evolve, and I'm only gonna get better if I do things that scare me. So yeah, absolutely, I'd love to, but yeah, I'd probably be close to puking on day 1.
That leads into my my question.
Yep.
Would you ever consider a Kickstarter where you direct? Because you do seem like a very articulate person.
Directing is a whole other beast. I've never really had the desire to direct. I'm learning more and more about filmmaking with being in films. And yeah, maybe it's something I'd like to cross that path at some point in my life, but let's be honest, man, if I'm not doing it for the right reason, if it's just sort of like, hey, you'd be good at directing, and then you do it, and then you just fall flat on your face. I mean, I would like to, if I'm going to go and I'm going to direct, I want to know everything. I want to know as much as I can, and I want to surround myself with top people that could be like, what are you doing? That's a stupid idea. No one does that. Just so that I can learn and go for the right reasons. But as of right now, I'm just trying to build the acting career, and I'm starting to try and produce on the side, and I'm going those routes, and then at some point, if directing is there, maybe I'll give it a shot. But it's never been something that I was like, one day I would like to direct. I mean, maybe it's in the back of the head, but it's not in the forefront right now.
That's cool.
We have time for one more question. Yes, sir, in front.
Very few actors in their career get to be a part of something where they're a part of establishment and up-and-comers, and also have an opportunity to be part of a movie when you're walking on that red carpet. There are people that are going to be out there rooting, hooting, and hollering the whole 9. What has that been like for you to be not just a part of something, but to be a part of where people are going to see you and want to shake your hand and the whole paparazzi, whole 9, and then to be around the best of the best, from people that won Academy Awards like Halle Berry to establishment people like Patrick Stewart,
Yeah.
and then being around the likes of Jennifer Lawrence and Ellen Page, who seem to be getting better and better day in and day out.
Right. I mean, being part of a massive franchise like the X-Men, where it's got a huge following, it's been around forever, it's got a massive amount of fans who are very loyal and very educated in the world. They understand it. So you want to make sure if you've got the part that you research and you do the best job you can so that you don't screw it up. But you at the same time as a performer, you got to bring your own little thing to it. So and then when it comes to being in a thing where it is worldwide and people are recognized, that is the one thing that with stardom and with great work and with getting yourself out there, you lose your privacy. And so that's one thing that you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? Like, how do I want to put myself out there? Do I want to be private? Do I want to be a little more private? Do I not want to show certain things in my life so that you do have elements of privacy, but you are out there enough so that you are relevant? Sorry. So that's that fine line that you've got to walk. And then in terms of working with great actors, you just want to learn from them. They've been around longer than you. They've got the tricks of the trade. There's certain things you want to ask questions. You want to sort of see what they do. Try to be that sponge. And with the up and comers, you're just like, this is great. Like you sort of you want to be a part of that. You love the fact that they're doing well and they're pushing boundaries and they're trying things. And it's all it's this great creative area to just sit there and embrace and be part of and try to move forward yourself along with other people.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
We're out of
you.
time. Thank you. Went by real fast.
Yeah, it was great.
Let's do one round of applause. Daniel Cudmore.
Thanks for your time,
Tiny
man.
mic stand.
Best Colossus ever.
Oh, thank you very much.
Only one.